What's going on, everybody? It's your least favorite duelist here, back with another video. We're going to be doing what everyone else does, which is like an annual review of the year. I know I'm like 9 days late on this, but I think it's kind of fun to do like maybe a top 5 type of deal. So I broke it down. So we have top 5 monsters, spell cards, trap cards, and then for the extra deck, fusion and synchro monsters. These by no means are cards that are really good. These are just cards that I enjoyed, and maybe if I share my opinion on it, you guys will enjoy them too. Some of them were specific to the meta that was going on, but I mean that by no means that these cards won't come back in some way. But let's just begin. So we'll start with the monsters. We got number 1 here, the legendary Yugioh Incarnate. So this card here was freaking like such an awesome addition to Yugioh. So it gave you another option in like your win condition to Yugioh. Because originally, when you played Grandpa's cards, you pretty much were just doing these degenerate ways to win, and just like it wasn't really viable. This card here in particular made it very viable, just on the fact that it gets really huge. You can make this thing 5,000 attack, and it's unaffected by other cards, which is nutty. Okay, and then it also helps you draw, and yeah, it's a cool card. I mean, you can't really get this card right now because this one in particular is from an event, which you see is not available right now. But hopefully they redo that event, because that's a really cool card to get if you do like playing Yugioh. And I do like those weird I like those weird decks. Okay, so next one here is we got Erebus, the Underworld Monarch. Now Monarchs are they're kind of a deck and they're kind of not. They're super expensive, so there's no way in hell, unless I made like a Patreon and you guys gave me a bunch of money, then there's no way I'm making that deck. But this is one of the cards I did unlock from the box. Let's see here, Aerial Assault, so the Blackwing box. So this one here, all he does is you send 2 Monarch spell cards, spell or trap cards from the hand or deck to the graveyard, and you just spin away a card. It's a good card. It's cool. It's a cool card. He's big. He's 2,800. And then the other thing you can do too is you can discard a Monarch spell trap card, and you can add him back to your hand when he's in the graveyard. He's really cool. Such a cool card. All right. The next one is we got UA Perfect Ace. So I guess number 3, whatever. I'm not really numbering it. These are just like top 5s in no particular order. Let's put me over here, on top of this guy's face, and we'll go like that. Okay. So let's there we go. Let's make my face a little bit smaller. There we go. So so UA Perfect Ace. So pretty much he's just a negator on your opponent's turn. So when you activate a card or effect, that's all he does, is he negates. Super cool card. All right, and then last but not least, for my top 5 for the old monster cards of 2019, of course, is Keeper Dragon Magic, the freaking poly fusion tutoring machine, the fusion machine. He's awesome. So if you do, this guy comes out of the structure deck. I believe it's the Dark Magician one. Yeah. So Masters of Chaos, and he gave so many fusion decks on his own viability. So not only does he search for the fusion spell, you can also bring one of the fusion materials out of the graveyard by revealing the fusion card. So he's really good. I kind of want to try him out in my Buster Blader deck. We'll have to see. It's definitely a really good card. Such a great addition. Oh wait, no, we have number 5 here. I forgot about this one. TSUKUYOMI. So TSUKUYOMI here, all she does is flip down cards. Now I was running this card in there's probably 5 different decks that I ran this card in. Right around the time when Red Eye Slash was a thing. When Sub-Terrors were really good, I played this card with Sub-Terrors. Freaking OP card. So when you normal summon it, it flips a card face down on your side or your opponent's side. And then if it's normal summon face up, it goes back to the hand at the end of their turn. So it's kind of like a reusable Canadia or like Floodgate in a way. But and then it also works like, let's say they attack into this thing and you have it set and it flips up, then it'll flip a card down. It was a really good card that I liked. All right, so that's it for monsters. That's it. Okay, so now we're going on to spells. So we had Mordschlag. So this card is an equipped spell. I'll just show you where it's from because I keep forgetting. Spirit of the Beast. So this card here, all you do is when you attack special summon monsters, your opponent's monster loses attack equal to your monster that's equipped its attack during the damage calculation. So this was like a way to get over like Invoked Cocytus and like a lot of big monsters. This card's really powerful in Noble Knights. So if you're a Noble Knight player, this is something to pick up as like a 1 of, maybe a 2 of, because it really helps you get over really big monsters easily. Okay. It does something else, I believe, right? Yeah, so it also makes your monster unaffected by your opponent's your opponent's special summon monster effects. There you go. So it's a special summon monster destroyer. This one's a troll card for here. This is Neutron Blast. So this one you get from the card trader. I know that for sure. And all it is when you have a Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon in the field, you activate this thing, you give your Blue Eyes 2 more attack, so you have 3. And then it does like this Armades effect to your Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. Not a good card. It's a fun card for sure. So if you like playing Blue Eyes Ultimate, get it. Alright, this is an actual good card because as you can see, you can only use 2 of them. So this is World Legacy Clash. Now I remember like in one of my older videos I talked so much about this card because I thought this card by itself made a lot of decks really viable. This one brought back Six Samurai when they got nerfed and then nerfed again and again. Like, this card is disgusting. So this one is a for sure must get. It's in Blazing Rose, and what it does is it banishes a monster on your side of the field as cost. So the thing about Yu-Gi-Oh is things that are banished for things that are done for cost cannot be negated unless there's like a face of like active ability going on. So on its own, it banishes a monster until the end of the turn as cost, and then you just lower the monster's attack by that banished monster's attack. That's it. And the nice thing about this is you can use in the damage step to negate an attack and then weaken another monster on top of that. So it's a very crippling card. And then it also protects your monster because you banish it till the end of the turn. It's a really good card. Okay. So a not very good card is Tuner's High. So this one here, which you get from Stardust Acceleration. So what this card does is you discard a monster, you special summon a tuner with the same level or with the same type and attribute, but 1 level higher. Now, I really like this card because I use it in my Fabled deck, which I don't really show that often, but the Fabled deck is it's cool. It's a cool little deck. But yeah, this is like it's a synchroing machine. If you really like synchro decks, and there's little cool tricks you can do with this because it's a special summoning of a tuner, so you can also normal summon after the fact, so it's cool. This is like a tech card that I really enjoyed using because usually this is called System Down, not down with the sickness, but so you get this in Servants of Kings. So what this card does is you just pay 1,000, banish all machine type monsters your opponent controls and in their graveyard. So this card has come up multiple times in my side decks or like my main decks, usually when machines become out of control. So 2 times that I can think of when machines were like super obnoxious was Ancient Gears when that box came out, and then also when the Desperado Dragon stuff came out. So If you ever have issues with machine decks, this is like the ultimate like give them the middle finger. You see that? See this thing right here in the middle? I'm gonna put my head on top of it. So this thing here on top, this is a big old middle finger. All right, to machine types. All right, and then we're on to trap cards. So that was all the spell cards, my top 5 favorites. Now we're on to Yosenju Sword Sting, which is a trap card. So my first ever King of Games was thanks to this card. You get this one in the Spirit of the Beast box. Yep, Spirit of the Beast. So what this card does is if you have no monsters on the side of your field, you reveal up to 2 Yosenjus in your hand, and you send 2 cards face up back to the deck, or back to the hand, sorry. Yeah, so this card is very disruptive if you are if you play first with Yosenju, you set this card, you got 2 Yosenju monsters in your hand, you disrupt a lot of plays. It's a really obnoxious card. Like, it freaking tilts really bad if you get a good Sword Sting off. Okay, next one. Oh yeah, METAPHYS Dimension. So METAPHYS Dimension. So this is in the METAPHYS archetype. What this card does is every time one of your METAPHYS gets banished, you banish a card on their side of the field. And then when your opponent special summons a monster, you can special summon one of your banished METAPHYS. If you're not familiar with METAPHYS, they do a lot of banishing of themselves and cycle and all this special summoning, blowing up back row, like blowing up special summon monsters. This is their trap card that kind of like completes the whole thing, because this is just disgusting removal, and banishing cards for the most part, most of the time, is like a really powerful way of removing things. Okay, so this one here, this is King's Consonance. This one, oh, get out of here. This one was from an event. Oh, actually, it used to be from an event, but I guess it's now a dual reward, because I don't know how to say anything properly. But what this does is when your opponent declares a direct attack, you negate that attack, and then you can banish a tuner and non-tuner to make synchro. So you can synchro summon on your opponent's turn. So what I used to do with this card, which was super funny, was I would make a Black Rose Dragon during their battle phase and blow up everything on their field during the battle step. So like it was a funny card. It's not awesome, it's not great anymore, but or never was. I could say it never was, but it's a cool card. All right, and then another awesome card that I talked about this card. This is probably a card I talked about in most of my videos. This is Curse Seal, the Forbidden Spell. So it's a counter trap. When a spell card's activated, discard 1 spell card, negate the activation, destroy it, and then your opponent cannot activate that card for the rest of the duel. So this card I used non-stop when Invoker was at its peak, just like wrecking fools. So you would just lock them out of, you use this on their invocation, and you lock them out of that for the rest of the duel. Awesome. Or if you're playing against a ritual deck, like Cyber Angels was a thing for a while, so I would use it against Cyber Angels. Boom, done. It was good against, I've had a lot of Yubels quit when they try to use their Fire King Island, and I would just negate it and they can't activate it. Not even in the graveyard, you can't do anything. Awesome card. And then the last one is another troll card. So this is Gamushara. I used to run this card in my what was this? My Subterror deck. So I would have like TSUKUYOMI and Flip Flop Frog. And what this card pretty much does is when you attack into it, oh, this is an event card again. So what this card does is when your monsters attack, you flip it up, and then you would, like, I don't use the rest of the ability. I literally use the first half of this thing with Subterrors because it's like a pseudo Subterror final battle, but for any monster that got attacked. Is fucking cool. So you would like flip frog people on like their battle phase, which is annoying, or TSUKUYOMI and flip it face down, like or like even use your Subterror monsters effects, and then you can use like it's a it was a cool card. I'll probably play some more Subterras sometime soon. All right, so that's it for the main deck. We just did it. Main deck done. All right, now on to the extra deck. Okay. We could start with fusions. Obviously, Buster Blader is gonna be on here. If you know what this guy does, he fucking hates dragons. He hates dragons, period. So those of you guys that are super excited about that new structure deck coming out, the Dragoonity one, you know, I'm gonna fuck you guys up. Okay? I'm sorry for the bad. I usually don't cuss in my videos, but that's what's gonna happen. Okay, so this guy here gains 1,000 attack for each dragon in the graveyard and field on your opponent's side, and then he negates all dragon effects on your opponent's side. He hates dragons, and he does piercing damage. He pierces the nuts. Anyways, so that's that. So we got Elemental Hero Grand Merge, another event card. If you notice, like, I am somewhat of a free-to-play player, so I usually play a lot of event cards. Anyways, so Elemental Hero Grand Merge. So he takes he's a fusion that you use 2 normal Elemental Hero monsters. Preferably, you want to use 2 Elemental Hero Neos, because you get this guy to like 3,600 attack or 44. I forgot what it was, like 4,400 attack. So anyways, when he's when you fusion summon him, he gains attack. What is it? Let me move this out the way. Things in the way. Okay, put him on. Put my face right there. Hold on. Let's shrink me down. Hold on. There we go. Just so we're out of the way. So he gains 300 attack times the total level of all the monsters that you use to fusion summon him. So I believe when you use 2 Neos, that's 14 times 3, which is a big number. Okay, you get a big number, and then when you destroy a monster with this guy, you tribute him and special summon any Elemental Hero monster from your extra deck. But the only downside of him is that that Elemental Hero monster that you summon cannot attack monsters that are lower than its level. So I usually would say, like, this card's really good when you use like Elemental Hero, like, let's say you have your opponent has like a face-up monster and a face-down one. You can destroy the face-up one with Grand Merge, tribute to Elemental Hero Shining Flare Wingman. I think he does piercing and burn damage, and then you just freaking blow up their nuts. Anyways, so now we got Elemental Hero Core. Let's just put my face over that. Okay, so Core is he's a Yugioh dual ward, apparently. He was from an event. So he takes 3 Elemental Hero fusions, and then when you attack with this guy during the after the damage step, he blows up 1 monster on the field. He floats into other Elemental Hero monsters when he's destroyed. If he is attacked, you can double his attack. So he's cool. What's really funny is I've had plenty of duels where like someone attacks into this guy and they just kill themselves, because he becomes 5,400 attack. So he's cool. All right, this one here. Anyways, Mud Dragon of the Swamp. So this one, I used to run this card in my I just had this thing called a Light Destroyer deck. So I would use like what is it called? It's like DNA Surgery, but not for type, but for like attribute. Anyways, it's like DNA swap therapy or whatever. But when I had a deck that would just destroy light monsters, and I would turn everything into light monsters, I also ran like a Miracle Fusion, and I would like Miracle Fuse their monsters with mine and make Mud Dragon of the Swamp. So what Mud Dragon of the Swamp does is you need 2 monsters with the same attribute with different types, and that's it. So he's kind of generic, and your opponent cannot target this card or monsters on the field with the same attribute as this card with card effects. So it made all your stuff non-targetable, and then it has a quick effect where it changes its attribute. So it's pretty cool. I know it's like only 1,900, but it's a really cool card. And then we got like the ultimate troll card right here. Timaeus, the Knight of Destiny. So this card here is one of those disgusting super boss monsters. So he's unaffected by other card effects. And then you make this card's attack and defense become equal to the attack of the monster of the highest attack. And so if you put this thing in defense, it cannot be destroyed by anything. It can only be tributed by like, let's see. I think you can only tribute it with Lava Golem right now, and that's it. But other than that, it can't. You can't touch this guy. And then when he is, if you somehow remove this card, he floats into the 3 monsters that you use to special summon this one out. So this one's in particular is crazy because you don't use Poly, you use 3 monsters. But the thing is like it's kind of like a really bad card because of like the way you have to bring it out. So you have to use like these 3 monsters here. And then you have to use like a spell card that you pay 2,000 life. You have to banish 3 of like these other fusion spells. It's a mess. But the thing is like the payoff is not really worth it. If it was like win the game type of thing, I would say like this card is amazing. But right now, like it's just stall the game out. But I mean, it's a pretty disgusting wall. Okay. Oh wait, we got to add in another. Did we do all the fusions? Oh yeah, we did. We accidentally removed core. So now we're gonna go on to synchros. So we're gonna go into Quarion Gandrix. So this card here, the thing is, yep, Cyber Rebellion. This was a card that I was like trying to get like for forever because when I was playing my Fabled deck, the Fabled deck that I play can make really big synchros, and they don't have a hard time getting out 2 tuners on the field. So what Quarion Gandrix does, he's like a level 9. He needs 2 tuners and 1 non-tuner. And when you synchro summon him, you can banish up to 3 monsters in your opponent's field or graveyard. And then, yeah, you just banish him. Okay, and then when he's destroyed, you can target a banished monster and special summon it. But he's so disruptive. Like, if you get this thing out, like, you can wipe a field so easily. And, like, not only can you wipe a field, you can disrupt stuff that is in the graveyard, too. So it's a really cool card. Okay. Probably my favorite card of all time right here. This card right here. This is the Fabled Unicorn. So he's a level 4 synchro, Fabled tuner and a non-tuner. And all he does is negate everything. He literally negates everything your opponent does if you have the same amount of cards in each other's hand. That's it. He just negates. He is like, the joy I got out of this card is like ridiculous. I'll show you where he comes from. I think it's in the, yeah, I was gonna say the zombie box, but Curse of Dread. Yeah, he is such a cool card. I freaking love this card. This is like one of my favorite cards ever. Okay, one of the new additions that I like, which I did a video on like last year, is Phantasmal Lord Ultimil Bish Balkan. So he's a level 12, and then what he does is, in order to special summon him, you have to have 2 tuners that are low. You have to have 2 monsters. One of them has to be a tuner, and the other one has to have be a monster the same level, but they have to be level 8 or higher, and you have to have them both on the field. So all he does is he gains 1,000 attack for each monster in the field. He generates tokens, so you can make him 6,000 attack pretty easy, and he can't be destroyed by card effects. So that's it. He's a cool like new card that I've been checking out. There's ways to like do disgusting lockdown with this. Now the way his token summoning works is it'll summon the same amount that you can summon on your side of the field. So it doesn't just fill up everything. So if you can summon 1 token, only 1 token will be on your opponent's side. If you can summon 2 tokens and your opponent has 1 monster on the field also, it summons 2 tokens. If that makes sense. But he's a cool card. Okay, this is a card that I think everyone, if you are playing a synchro deck, you need to have is Samurai Destroyer. This is for sure what's going to go on my list. I called this card right when I did like, I think I did a box review on this card, and I called it like right when I saw it. I was like, this thing is disgusting. So it's a generic level 7 synchro. What he does is when he attacks, he negates everything. So if you're playing against Fortune Ladies, Like let's say fortunately you know how their attacks are based off their level. You take that level to nothing, and their attack becomes 0. But this guy is super powerful when you attack monsters. You can't. I believe you can't. You can Neos Fusion. I think you can't just activate everything but banishing on the graveyard. But yeah, awesome card. And then he floats into another machine if he's destroyed by card effect. So he's a really, 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 really super vital card to synchroing. I think he's an out to a lot of decks on his own. Okay. And then the last but not least was an early on deck that I played that I never really showed. Is Level Stenin. So he's a big old level 7 tuner. And what he does is you discard a card when you synchro summon him, and then if he's targeted by stuff, you banish a Lava out of your graveyard. So he's immune to targeting pretty much. And then Lavals want their cards to be banished out of the graveyard anyways to fuel for more synchro plays. So this guy's a beast. So that's it for today. Now, if I wanted to tell you like one of my favorite cards of all time ever in the 2019 Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links, that award obviously goes to Fabled Unicorn. Now, I should put out more videos of this card. Maybe I should. But this is like my little my little thing that I keep right here in my heart. I freaking love this card. I just like the fact that people don't read, and it just negates. It's awesome. But that's gonna be it for today. I want to thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Deuces.